Trailmix that everybody should have either received and started doing. But if you haven't, I'm going to copy the link to this Trailmix and share it with you in the chat. So first, let me know if you don't have a Trailhead account and if we need to set that up for you. So just come off of mute. Feel free to come off of mute if you don't have a Trailhead account and we need to just set that up. Now, this Trailmix is going to be basically the one-stop shop for most of the homework assignments you're going to be doing. Now, the one requirement, one of the few requirements, actually, not the one requirement, but one of the few requirements is you want to make sure you finish this Trailmix before you take the Marketing Cloud Admin certification. The thing about this Trailmix is that Therian and I have gone through this Trailmix and basically checked to see if the material in the Trailmix is relevant to the Marketing Cloud Admin cert. But we've also just decided, hey, that we're going to make this thing dynamic. So if there's anything that you see on Trailhead that you think is relevant to studying for the Marketing Cloud Admin cert, definitely let us know. But this is the most dynamic Marketing Cloud Administrator Trailmix that I have found available. So we're just co-creating this, co-designing this, and if anything new pops up, then we're going to bring that in there. But the main thing is just to make sure you finish this Trailmix before you take the Marketing Cloud Admin cert. So you have 6 weeks to prepare for the Marketing Cloud Admin cert. And honestly, the clock starts ticking today. So that's why I wanted to give you this Trailmix today, because you have 6 weeks to finish this. You actually really have 5 weeks. If you think about when we're going to take the exam in week 5, we will give you some leeway just in case you need a little bit extra time. I know life comes up. There's things that happen. So if we do need to push it into week number 6 for you to take your exam, we can definitely do that. It's not going to hurt anything. So we're just going to really make sure you've got all of the material you need for the exam. And all of it's really in here as far as the homework assignments that we're going to be doing goes. So you can start on this today. There is no limit to how many you can do, how many modules and trails you can do per day. If you want to knock out all of them in one day, if you've got 10 hours to spend on a Saturday morning or Saturday and Sunday, knock it out. Just want to make sure that you're seeing the material that you need to see as far from a homework perspective that you need to see, and then get you acquainted with that. Number one piece of advice I have is go through it and actually really take notes on it. You definitely don't want to just go through and just knock out the quizzes and things like that just to say you got it done. Definitely go through, take notes as you're going through this stuff, and you're going to be extremely prepared for the Marketing Cloud Admin certification. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about here was the actual certification, the actual Marketing Cloud Administrator certification. I wanted us to go through this just to make sure you've got a strong understanding of A, where to find the exam guide, and B, knowing what's actually going to be on the exam. So I'm going to share this link with you here to the exam outline. It's in the chat now. And we are going to just, when you get to this link, just go ahead right here under this content section and click on exam outline. Now, this will just take you to a page or to a section on this page. If you want to just scroll down, you can actually just scroll down and it'll take you to the exam outline here. And I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can actually see that. I know my screen is really big, so if this words are ever too small, just tell me to zoom in. So we're going to look here at the exam outline, and we're just going to get acquainted with how to actually prepare for this exam. Because like I said, number one thing is resourcefulness. So we want to make sure you're as resourceful as possible and you have you have the most capacity to support yourself as possible. And that's really my biggest thing is I just want to give you the most capacity to support yourself and guide you to the end of that bowling lane, so to speak. We'll keep going back to that analogy. I'm that guardrail. What we're going to do here is we're just going to look at the different sections here on the exam, and we're going to look at the breakdown of what you should be preparing for. So on the exam outline, we have 5 different sections. Now, we're going to just walk through kind of the step-by-step process we're going to actually go through in this course. So let's just talk about the way we're going to walk through this course, and we'll talk about the exam outline. So we're actually going to structure this course a little bit differently than the way the exam outline looks, because we want to make sure you have a logical, cohesive, step-by-step pattern to follow. So the first thing we're going to cover in this course as we go through this course is we're going to talk about digital marketing proficiency. We're going to get you proficient in understanding the rules around digital marketing. So there are governance rules, there's compliance rules you need to follow. You need to understand the rules to the game of digital marketing. And you just have to really make sure before you actually start building things in Marketing Cloud, these are rules that work no matter which marketing automation tool you use. So these are things we're going to talk about before we get started. We're going to talk about best practices when it comes to securing your data, when it comes to making sure that you have the correct permissions, making sure that you're not sharing personally identifiable information or amongst your colleagues when it comes to your customer data. And then we're going to talk about the additional products that Salesforce actually offers when it comes to the whole suite of Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So we're going to get you familiar with the system, and not just with the system, but also with the game of digital marketing as a whole before we actually get into the nuts and bolts, basically, of Marketing Cloud. All right. Any questions on this digital marketing proficiency section, or just the exam guide in general? Okay. So that's how we're going to start the course. That's how we're going to, whenever we actually get into the material, that's how we're going to start it. And then when we start the course, we're going to jump to setup, because we want you to really understand what it takes to set Marketing Cloud up. That's going to be a huge role for you as a Marketing Cloud admin, is how do you actually configure Marketing Cloud so that you don't send a message in 6 weeks or whenever a campaign is built out and you can't deliver it to your customers. Let's say you have 1 million customers and you can only send it to 300,000 of them because your email deliverability is shot. You don't want that to even be a thing. So we're going to talk about what it takes to actually set up Marketing Cloud from the beginning. There's going to be additional things that you're not really seeing right here on these 4 bullet points that are going to be related to just making sure your email deliverability is really on point and you're set up and ready to go. But when we finish that part, we're going to be talking about how to set up your account, how to actually set up Marketing Cloud. So how to set up new users inside of Marketing Cloud, how to give those users permissions, how to grant security, how to grant passwords, how to actually set the right passwords, password security protocols, how to set up business units, basically the hierarchical structure of your Marketing Cloud account. And we're going to talk also about some integrations that you can actually connect with Marketing Cloud. So Marketing Cloud Connect, we're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about distributed marketing. We're going to be talking about bringing in additional products like Query Studio and different packages that you can actually utilize inside of Marketing Cloud. And then we're going to really just be touching on every single thing you need to know about in setup. So inside the entire setup menu. So first 2 things, get you acquainted with the whole entire rule book of digital marketing. get you set up to configure your Marketing Cloud account. And the next thing we're going to talk about is your data management. So next, the most logical next step is, how do you actually manage your data inside of Marketing Cloud? So that's where we're going to be talking about how to set up your basically data architecture, the contact model. So how do you connect your data extensions with each other so that your data talks to each other and it flows smoothly throughout Marketing Cloud? How do you segment your data? How do you import data into those data extensions? What's the difference between a list and a subscriber? How does data flow to all subscribers? We're going to be talking about all of that. And we're going to be making sure that we have the right quality of data as well. So as we're designing our data architecture, as we're building and importing data and segmenting data, we're going to be talking about how to make sure we actually have quality data so that we don't have a ton of duplicates. So we're not sending to the wrong people. We're not double sending to people. And just to make sure that we have the whole data piece set up. And then we're going to talk about profile and preference centers. So what that means is basically, how do people manage their subscription? How do people opt in? How do people opt out of our email messages, of our text messages, and things like that? So we're going to be talking third about our data, the data side of things. And then fourth, we're going to be talking about channel management. So we're going to really introduce you to the email studio side of things first, just to get you acquainted with the concept of what a subscriber is, how that relates to contacts inside of Contact Builder. And then we're going to be talking about Mobile Studio, and then Social Studio and Advertising Studio. And we'll actually get into Journey Builder as we build out our project. So some of this stuff we will have a little bit limited access to, just because some of the concepts that we're going to be talking about require us to either have a short code or a long code plus a keyword. And we just need to make sure we understand the concept behind what Mobile Studio allows us to do, why it's useful, why it's beneficial, some use cases behind it. And then whenever you are on client site, you're familiar with that and you can go back and set it up. So we're going to talk about how to manage your different channels. There's a bunch of different channels inside of Marketing Cloud. When we talk about channels, just think of it as how you're marketing to your audience. So you can market through emails, you can market through text messages, you can market through mobile push messages. Maybe you have a mobile app. You can market through social media. You can market through Instagram, Facebook. You can market through, and then you can utilize all of those different channels, and you can actually automate all of it with Journey Builder. So we're going to talk about how to do that. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about how to maintain your Marketing Cloud environment. So how do you make sure that you're getting all the notifications you need to receive? If something goes wrong inside of Marketing Cloud, who needs to be the person that receives the notifications whenever something does go wrong? How do you report on how your campaigns are running? How do you pull data extracts? How do you run reports inside of Marketing Cloud? What are the different reports that are available in Marketing Cloud? And then what happens if Marketing Cloud for some reason just isn't working one day and you need to understand what's happening? So we'll go in and talk about where to go find out what's happening on your server that you're working on your specific instance that you're working in. And then we'll talk about benefits of more Marketing Cloud products. So that kind of ties into the Marketing Cloud product inventory and product offerings. So we'll be talking about this when we talk about product inventory and offerings. So we'll just kind of we'll kind of do a little bit of overlap just on that one specific bullet point there. But that's pretty much how we're going to go through this. So first step we're going to take is, let's get you acquainted with the Marketing Cloud game, or the marketing game in general. Second step, let's get Marketing Cloud set up. Third step, let's set up our data architecture. Let's make sure we have our data flowing smoothly, because without that, nothing else works. Step 4, we're going to make sure we understand how to configure the different channels inside of Marketing Cloud. And step 5, we're going to talk about how to maintain Marketing Cloud for ongoing support and jumping into the system to make sure we're able to troubleshoot. So that's all I've got for you for the exam outline. Remember the Trailmix that I gave you just a little bit back, that's going to be basically intertwined with this exam outline. So everything in that Trailmix that I sent in that first link is going to be intertwined in with throughout this exam outline. So I'm going to pause for a second and just see if anyone has any questions so far. Okay. So the last step we're going to take here today is just, like I said, we're just going to get you acquainted with everything. The one homework assignment that I'm going to have you do here, and I think it's only going to take you about 20, 30 minutes maximum, is just come through and read this entire page here. So that's one of the only things that I'm going to really have you do for the day, is just really get acquainted with the exam guide. Come through, read everything starting from summer 22 release all the way down to maintaining your Salesforce certification. Like I said, I want to empower you with the most knowledge possible. And the first and the best way to do that is get you acquainted with what we're actually going to be focused on the entire course. And one last thing I actually wanted to talk about here was, if you think about what we're going to be doing in this course, is you just want to think about everything we're going to build out from starting from our first assignment to our last is going to be built around the idea of preparing you for at least one of these bullets, sometimes some of the multiple bullet points at the same time. So every assignment we're going to do is going to be covering a bullet point here. It might not say it specifically on that assignment, but you will be actually going through what it takes to build out every single bullet point here. So it's not like the assignments that we're doing are kind of just, ambiguous or I guess unrelated to what we're going to be covering here. And the one thing I like about the way Salesforce structures their exam outlines is, if you think about what you're studying for each one of these bullet points, if you map these bullet points over to the assignments we're going to do, Salesforce is actually testing you on your ability to do real world projects based on the bullet points they're giving you. So ultimately, what Salesforce is doing on the exam when you sit for the exam is they're basically saying, do you know how our product works? And if so, show us. And if you can pass that certification, you have our stamp of approval, basically. So that's all I look at that's all I think about when I look at a Salesforce exam, is Salesforce is saying, if you can pass our stringent requirements, that means you get our seal of approval. And if you've got Salesforce's seal of approval, that's why you see people who have the certifications basically, getting their foot in the door to different jobs, getting new opportunities and things like that, because it really is a valuable thing. So that's what we're doing. We're getting you prepared to get that stamp of approval from Salesforce. And we're doing that with real exercises. So to finish this day out, we're just going to go ahead and give you your Marketing Cloud login information. So the first thing I'm going to have everybody do is go to Marketing Cloud, and that's going to be on marketing or MC. I'm just going to put it in the chat. mc.exacttarget.com. So go ahead and just copy that URL that I just put into the chat, and go ahead and just paste that into your URL. And we're going to give you your login information just to make, okay, so you should be logged into Marketing Cloud here, and you should be on the homepage or the dashboard of Marketing Cloud, which will show you your journey templates, It'll also show you your calendar if you do have any upcoming email sends or campaigns running. But also down here at the bottom, towards the bottom here, you'll see this is that empowering part of the Marketing Cloud web page here is you have access to the Salesforce Trailblazer community. So right here, if you want to go to help.salesforce.com, you can click on Browse Help and Learning, and it'll take you directly to the help website here on Salesforce. If you want to post questions to the community, you can actually go to the Trailblazer community feed. What we're going to do today is I'm going to just share with you a couple of links on some groups that I'm going to encourage you to join. But that'll be here in a second, here in a little bit. But let's just finish looking at the dashboard here and just take a tour of Marketing Cloud. So you've got the Salesforce marketing blog as well. So you've got 5 different blogs here. This will help you just understand some of the additional features either that you can add to Marketing Cloud, like CDP, Genie here, and then just understand some of the mind frame it takes to actually be a digital marketer in today's economy, today's world. And then you have the Einstein Learning Center, which is a new feature here. So you can click, you can view an Einstein overview. If you do have access to that, there's this Einstein tab here. So you can learn more about Marketing Cloud Einstein, which is the artificial intelligence side of Salesforce. So if you hear the word Einstein, think of artificial intelligence, think of AI, machine learning. And that is the future of basically everything in technology in general, but Einstein is the AI side of Salesforce, and Marketing Cloud has that, the ability to access machine learning AI. So the next thing we have is if you've sent an email recently, you can see your recently sent emails. You can see your recently edited content builder emails. They'll see here, I was just testing around, playing around with creating a Nike email here just to show a real world example. Recently run automations, if you've run any automations inside of Automation Studio, journeys inside of Journey Builder. And these are all the cards that you're seeing. So there's 4 cards underneath towards the bottom, which show you your journeys, your automations, your emails that you've sent, and then the emails that you've edited. That's the dashboard homepage here. But up here towards the top, you'll see the different studios and builders that you can go into inside of Marketing Cloud. So this is actually where you're going to be using to navigate around the most, this little tab area. Think about this as kind of like, imagine if you use Google Chrome or Safari or, Firefox or Edge or whatever browser you use, you have tabs up at the top and you have bookmarks as well. Think of these kind of like as tabs or bookmarks that allow you to go to different areas inside of Marketing Cloud. And all you need to do is just know where that little bookmark drop down is. So if you look at Journey Builder, you have 3 little quote unquote bookmarks. They're not technically bookmarks like, Google Chrome has, but they are the same concept, right? So if you hover over Journey Builder, you actually don't click on Journey Builder. You actually click on the little bookmark that shows up underneath Journey Builder. Now I'm calling it a bookmark. It's just, it's not necessarily, that's not necessarily the name. It's just, this is how you're going to navigate to different areas of Marketing Cloud. So since this is how you navigate around in Marketing Cloud, you'll see over here on the right-hand side, you'll see the apps. These are called apps. You can call them studios or builders, but right here, they're called apps. The applications, basically, the different areas inside of Marketing Cloud you can go to. You'll see the apps that you have access to. And then if you click on all apps, you'll see all of the apps that would be available inside of your Marketing Cloud account. Now, personally, for me, I always just have my apps chosen because I don't necessarily want to see the other apps that I don't have access to. If I can't access them, I'm not going to necessarily have them in the way, so to speak. So I'm just going to keep my apps selected. And that is the overview page here. You can also look at your calendar. Remember, you're a marketer. So inside of your Marketing Cloud account, you can check to see the different campaigns that you have coming up. Inside of Marketing Cloud, you can read this pop-up here to view the information on either past sends or future sends that are coming up. And you can basically check to see how all of your campaigns are running. So if you want to here, we're in the month of December, you'll see what's happening in December. Do you have any campaigns that are coming up? Do you have any events that are coming up? What sort of messages are being sent out on certain days? Are you sending email messages? Are you sending text messages? Are you sending mobile app messages? Do you have any campaigns set up? Do you have Group Connect? Do you have WhatsApp? Do you have any sort of events coming up on the calendar here? And also, do you have which business units are running those campaigns? So if you have multiple business units, you can actually break it down based on the business unit, which business unit's running a campaign. So if you think of a business unit, you can think of a large company like Nike or something like that, right? Nike's all around the world. So if you think about where Nike's located, headquarters are in Eugene, Oregon, right? That's the headquarters where Phil Knight set up the empire. But Nike's also in China. Nike's in Australia. Nike has headquarters over in Europe. Nike's all over the world. Now, there's different customers over there, which require different messaging, different languages, different products, right? So we want to have different business units that represent those different regions of the world. So that's just one example of why you would use a business unit. But let's say you wanted to just check on the business unit that's located in Europe. Well, you could click on that, let's just say, or maybe in Australia, you could click on that and you would see your campaigns that are running over in that different region of the world. So that's the calendar. Just want to get you acquainted with just the look and the feel of things here. You also have something called campaigns in Marketing Cloud, which really, if you think about it as a marketer, you want to have things grouped into campaigns, because at the end of the day, you don't want to ever send something in, you don't want to ever send a message, a marketing message, or you don't want to have someone visit a website and you're not able to track that data. The number one tool that I would say that any marketer has is tracking tools. Like you've got to track how things are working. You've got to track which campaigns worked. You have to track which links actually got customers to click through, which email messages, which subject lines work. So you can keep optimizing and making that better and better. Now, this is the last thing we're going to cover for today. Campaigns here. If you create a campaign, you can name the campaign, you can give it a description, you can categorize it based on the color, or you can give it a color if you want to color coordinate it. You can design when that campaign starts. You can design, assign who the owner of that campaign is. You can give it a code. You can create tags if you want to make sure you're categorizing your campaigns and organizing them based on the data you're trying to keep track of. Now, when you create a campaign, I just created this Halloween campaign right around October, just to kind of play around with it and show other students kind of what was going on here. But if you think about like a Halloween campaign or any type of campaign, this could be a 4th of July campaign, it could be a Christmas campaign. You want to think about the fact that you will have marketing messages, you will have data, you will have journeys, you'll have automations that all are firing this campaign, making sure it's running smoothly. So if you want to, you actually can come here and add to your campaign. So you just have to click on storyboard here, And you can actually add emails to this campaign, the emails you're sending out, triggered sends, which we'll talk about as time goes on. You can add any of the text messages you're sending to customers to get them to maybe purchase something for Halloween. Maybe you're a costume shop and you want to get customers to come into the store. Which emails are you sending out? Which text messages are you sending out? Which landing pages have you built to make sure that people are going to the right place? Which subscribers are you sending to? Which data extensions are you storing them in? Which lists are you storing them in? Which automations are you running? So you can add all of these different things into this campaign so you can keep track of everything that's making this campaign actually happen. So that's going to be the last thing we talk about just for today. I want to stop here, see if anyone has any questions. This was just a quick brief overview. We're going to be in Marketing Cloud a lot every single day. And but I just wanted to give you a quick tour of Marketing Cloud, see if you had any questions. All right.
Hey, Kaylin, this is Stephen. Hey, you talked briefly about Einstein. We won't be implementing any of that, will we?
Yeah, we're not going to be doing Einstein,
Okay.
partially just because we don't have the plethora of data that's required to actually make machine learning run.
Gotcha.
But we will be talking about what the different reports are inside of Einstein and also what they allow you to do. So,
okay. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks.
Good question. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. So all I've got for you today is, and I'm going to just put this in the chat, is just make sure that you, tour Marketing Cloud even more on your own. You've got access to it. So that's step number one, just tour Marketing Cloud on your own. The next step is go through the exam guide. So read the exam guide, right? And I'm going to put a link in there. So that's step number 2. And then the last thing we're going to do here is we're actually just going to go to the Trailblazer community, and we're going to get you connected to a Trailblazer group here. So I just put a link in the chat, and I want you to just join this Trailblazer group that we're going to go to here in 1 second, once everybody opens up that link in the chat. Okay. So we're going to actually just go to, we're going to hover over the community tab here. And we're going to go to groups. So just hover over community up here in the top of your Trailhead account. Click on groups. And we're going to filter based on product. So you should have 4 filters, and click on the third filter and go down to Marketing Cloud. Click on Marketing Cloud. And you'll see this Marketing Cloud group that has 48,394 members. So click on this one, click on this Marketing Cloud group. Now I'm a member right here, but it should say follow if you're not a member up here in the top right where I'm hovering. And just click on follow. Now, this is where the empowerment starts right here. This is where I'm going to say, go through this and just start reading. What are people asking? What sort of questions are people asking in here? Don't worry about if it's extremely complex, like if it's like someone's trying to learn SQL or, trying to go through a date-based event trigger or anything like that. Don't necessarily get lost in the very, very technical things. Just go through and just start kind of seeing, how is this structured? Okay, this is the feed. It's like a Facebook feed, right? And then on the right-hand side, we have some additional resources right here. We can show more. So we can see some key resources, release notes, documentation. We have an event calendar. So what's happening? What sort of events are coming up? Getting started with Marketing Cloud. Register for on-demand webinars right here. We have the Salesforce MVP program, different user groups. Maybe there's a user group in your area and you never knew about it until you clicked on this and started researching around. We have other related groups. So maybe you're interested in Pardot or Social Studio or Social Customer Service, and you want to check that out. You can check out who the group leaders are. Maybe just follow those people. Maybe just click on their profile. If you click on, let's just say Daniela, click on Daniela's profile. You could follow Daniela. You could message, right? So this is where you just start to come in and kind of get familiar with the Salesforce ecosystem, get familiar with the community. That's the number one thing I would say is definitely make sure you start getting familiar. Now, one thing I'm going to say here is you probably will get a lot of emails. So if you want to change your email preference on how you receive your emails based on the account email that you have set up, you can get a post. You can get an email for every single post. You can get a daily digest or a weekly digest, or you can say, hey, I never want to receive emails. But I like to keep it at weekly just to see what I missed out on, see if there's anything that pops up. It always reminds me to come back to this featured group and just see what's happening. What questions are people asking? Who are the thought leaders, right? I know this guy right here. He answers a lot of questions, right? He's a Salesforce MVP or Marketing Cloud MVP. He's got his own website, right? But he just comes in and offers a ton of value. So you'll start to see who's most active in here, who's really answering questions, what are people actually doing to solve problems. And that's it. That's all I've got for you today is tour Marketing Cloud, read back through the exam outline on Trailhead, read this whole page here, and then just sign up for this featured Marketing Cloud group and just start getting acquainted with this. Not much today, just wanted you to get a little bit more familiar with the system, with the community as well, and get you logged into your account so you've got access to that. So that's all I've got for everybody today. Like I said, we'll keep it bite-sized. We'll keep it digestible, easy to maintain and keep your progress going. Like I said a little bit earlier, you can always come back through to the Trailmix that I shared for Marketing Cloud Administrator, and you can start working on this. There is no limit on what you can get started on and what you want to actually do. So that's completely up to you on what you want to learn and how fast you want to learn and knock these things out. But I'm not going to assign this as an assignment for you to have to do today. I just want to make sure you have this, bookmark this, and we'll get started when we start doing the exercises. All right, that's all I've got for everybody today. I'm going to stop sharing here, and I'm also going to stop recording.